Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday, May 30th edition of Speaker Co-working. I'm Angela Lewis, Head of Customer Success here at SpeakerHub, and we are excited to have everyone here from all over the world talking about the speaking industry, but also a number of our lifetime members here. So every day we share wins, welcome our new people, and then get into a few lessons and things to help everyone get booked more and make more money from their speaking and their intellectual property. Okay, now we can get into wins. Lawrence,
Okay,
we're ready for you.
So you able to hear me clearly?
We hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. My win today is that I've got a place keep in mind, I'm in Pennsylvania. So this place that is interested in having me is in Arkansas. So that will be a very fun time to travel there. And it's not confirmed yet, but they booked a meeting with me. And so far, I had a phenomenal closing rate on those meetings. So
Congrats.
if I
That's
do get
huge.
booked there, well, when I do, I'm going to have a fun time figuring out how to get from Philadelphia to the middle of nowhere in Arkansas.
Hold on. That's a lot of us from the Midwest. Okay, you Northeast people always think that the middle of nowhere is the Midwest. No, Arkansas is the place, Lawrence. But we are happy for you, and we're confident in your skills to close the deal. But don't disrespect the Midwest. But congratulations to come. Thank you for sharing from the middle of nowhere. Hey Ron, he popped back. Okay, any other wins? Any other wins, potential wins, things that you're excited about?
Oh, sure. My case, I'll give
Michael,
you. We just signed a contract to do a 5,000 year in Bucksville, Pennsylvania.
congratulations. Congratulations. That is wonderful. Michael, it's a little, your voice is cutting out a little bit. Yep, can you pull
How
your mic
about
down
that?
a
Is
little?
that a little bit
Yes,
better?
that is much
Yeah.
better. Will you
I
say
had
that
to
again? I caught the tail end.
I just signed a $5,000 contract to speak later this year in Pennsylvania.
Wonderful. Congrats. Congratulations. Very exciting to hear. Any other wins? We have Lawrence with the possibility of going to Arkansas, Michael going up to Pennsylvania, where Lawrence is, Bonnie.
So
Hi, everybody.
just using some time to make some appointments, So I'm not totally disbanding everything. I'm making quite a few appointments. So
And that's the first step, the appointment. You don't get to close the deal without the appointment. So that's awesome. All right, Bonnie.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Jasmine, I'm jealous of your vacation spot. I hope you're having a blast. An email that I received started with this sentence. Hi, Bonnie. Yes, everything you listed is exactly what I would like to get quotes on. I loved opening that email because all the things that I suggested that after we had met in person in Connecticut, this person is ready to move forward with. So yay, super psyched.
Congratulations, Bonnie. Congrats. Very
Thanks.
big deal. Nicole?
So mine wasn't necessarily a financial win or anything, but I'm in Black NSA, and yesterday we had a pitch and referral, our first pitch and referral meeting. And I have been going back and forth trying to figure out my three pillars are biz, law, life. And the business is kind of picking up some traction in the AI side of things. And I just couldn't figure it all out and put it together. And so yesterday I was doing the pitch part of it in the breakout room, and then it was reconfirmed in the master session. I figured out my brand. So I hurried up and found my domain name and got my logo, and it's just like everything that I had been working for like 6 months just boom came together. So you are looking at the business owner of Prosperous Pivots. And it works with the business, it works with the law, it works with the leadership and self-care, and the AI fits in there. So I'm all about Prosperous Pivots.
That is very memorable And congratulations. You can see the aha moment went off for you. So congrats. We all need prosperous pivots because we all pivot. Like that is inevitable. Be
But
able
you
to do it
don't get there if you
prosperously.
don't show up. So all the
Amen.
people that are here and on the call, like it took time and it was organic, but it came because I
Yeah.
showed up. So because y'all showed up, I'm praying that all of you all are blessed by today's meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. All right. You have a full house. This is amazing. John and Carlos, for all of those who are lifetime members who emailed and asked about their accounts, y'all are good now. Everyone should be able to pitch now. We fixed the issue.
Yeah, little bugs. You know, I
Yeah.
grew up in the hood. We had bugs when I was growing up. So
Yeah.
our software got roaches.
Ew.
I mean,
Go
it's
sleep
new.
Kill
over
them
the
though.
Ron's house.
It's just that's when I was growing up. Things that changed on this side, you know. Things we done grew up a little bit since growing up in the 70s. You know, that's when your mom and them could smoke in the car. Cars came with ashtrays. They don't even come with them no
I
more, you know.
did.
But good to see everyone. Amelia, is this your first time joining us?
Yes, it is. Thank you for welcoming me. At last, I decided that I would take some time to enroll in your platform and start the process. And I'm a coach, I'm a business and executive coach. I just published a book in December on living with purpose. My focus is on regenerative leadership. And I've been invited and I have had some speaking engagement. I don't have stage fright, quite the opposite. The greater the audience, the more comfortable I feel. Therefore, I'd like to phase out my coaching work and improve my speaking. I enrolled in a Toastmasters group in Portugal, and I've been visiting both groups in Portuguese and in English. My primary audience is definitely in Portuguese for Portugal, the Portuguese-speaking countries, mainly Angola and Mozambique. And Brazil, not so much, because in spite of having the same language, we are culturally quite different. And also some speaking engagement in English, because I have some clients, namely in Mozambique, that are English-speaking clients. Therefore, let's run for it.
No, that's really incredible. Yeah, keep going. And here's the thing. At SpeakerHub, we think everyone should pursue whatever dreams that they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear
Your
you.
audio went out.
Hello.
Yep, we hear you now.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, can you hear me now? Like the Verizon commercial? All right. So at SpeakerHub, we believe that you can do both, right? The traditional speakers usually get paid up front. The entrepreneur or the consultant usually speaks for free, but gets consulting clients on the back. And it's kind of like the relationship between athletes and entertainers. The athletes want to be rappers or singers, and the rappers want to be athletes. But you can do both. At SpeakerHub, you can do both. You can build both businesses at the same time. So I don't think you have to choose one or kill one to have the other. You can do both of them, as we like to say, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. Welcome to SpeakerHub. We're here to help you. I'm Ron Story. I am the head of membership, the owner of SpeakerHub, the head of all the problems, the head of everything, the head of personal responsibility at SpeakerHub. So I'm responsible for everything.
Your video. I've just seen your video.
Oh, incredible. That's good. That's a good thing, right? And Angela is the head of customer support and customer success. Her job is to make sure that you guys are getting the results that you want. This business doesn't work without results. There are a lot of claims out there. There are a lot of places out there that will make promises without the accountability. And we're very proud of being held accountable by you guys, where in a public forum, we'll let you come in and say, hey, my account ain't working. Perfectly fine. Everybody else wants that in a little chat bot because they want to make it seem like everything's perfect. No, we'll deal with it here and we'll come and apologize and let you know in the same public forum it's fixed, right? So our job is to help you to get more speaking gigs. Today is a Friday, which is a Ask Me Anything day. I have some things I can go over, but I really want to open it up on Fridays for you all to be able to ask whatever questions that you have, because my topics are usually pushing towards a certain direction, but you all may be in different, experiencing different things in your business that you have questions about. So is there anything you all want to start off with? If not, I can just go into what I was going to talk about, which
Yeah, I had a
is,
question.
oh, go ahead, John. Yep.
Yeah,
Let me turn on my light here. 1 second. Go ahead. I'm listening. I just
okay.
gonna fix the
Yeah,
light.
now
so it
that
doesn't-
now that I had this proposal accepted for this conference in October, what is the expectation? I mean, what happens between now and then? What should I expect? They said they're going to get back to me once they get all the speakers lined up in a couple weeks, but what's normally the game plan between now and then?
So a couple things that I would do, right? Now, everybody has their own approach. Again, it's in October. This is your time to do, I would try to set up a meeting if you can with the person who organized it and accepted you to make sure that you're covering the topics that, because you want to have context. There's nothing like somebody giving the wrong speech to the wrong audience, right? It's like, oh man, I went in with this and I should have been talking about that. So the more context that you have around the objectives and the goals of the organization for the event, the better you'll deliver. Because I know that people say, well, man, the audience loved me. Yeah, but if it didn't accomplish the goals of the event planner, then it doesn't really matter because they're not going to bring you back. So I'll give you a great example. We have the Pro Speaker Summit coming up, which is around product. Now, we can have a great speaker that will come on, but if they're not pushing our agenda that speakers need to sell other products and services, I'm not going to be too happy with that conversation. They can be motivating, they can be exciting and all of that, but I need my agenda pushed because that's the theme of the conference. Does that make sense? So we have to think about being a speaker as a mercenary with the message, right? They hired me to come in to deliver a message to push the agenda that they have. Now, I can do it in my own way, but if they didn't like what I was talking about and the direction I was going, then they wouldn't have hired me. Does that make sense? So nobody's hiring speakers that are contrary to their agenda. Now is the time when you put in the work and the research and understanding how you can better serve them. And I think that that's what separates the greats. We did a great interview for the Pro Speaker Summit with Frank Kitchen, and he talked about the amount of time that he puts into research. He's like, I'm not just a speaker. He's like, I'm a thought leader, which means I got to always be improving my perspective and getting other people's perspectives so that when I show up with this synthesized message that they can't get anywhere else. Does that make sense? So there's levels to this, right? You know, just like in pro sports, there's the people who make it to the NBA. There's the people who make it to the All-Star game, and then there's the Hall of Famers, right? But usually it just comes down to work ethic, right? Steph Curry had 7 terrible years in the NBA, was almost out of the league. But then they switched the coach and they opened him up a little bit, let him shoot a little bit more. Boom, now we got the greatest shooter of all time. We would have never seen that if we just judged him on his first 6 years. But he had to put in the work to change his shot and to work on his strength. He was too frail. If you go look at the early Steph Curry videos, he's really skinny. If you look at him now, if he takes off his shirt, he's a muscle guy. But he's added this strength. So that's really, as a speaker, there are people who have a great story. And then there are people who can move the crowd. And then there are people that can move everybody. Like, change the way you think, change your perspective, give you a new point of view, open up like that light bulb moment for you. That's because they put in the work to discover that thing that worked for you. Does that make sense? I was on a call with a guy yesterday and he's like, man, you get so excited about this stuff. I'm like, dude, this is all that I do. Like, I'm not looking at how to do an engineering business. I do speakers, right? I don't do anything else. So that excitement should come across in the crowd, but that comes from you doing the pre-work to be that different speaker for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there
So I didn't mean
anything
to go on a
other?
long rant, but that's
No, I
that's
get
how
it, but
important it is.
that's spot on, and it
John,
resonates.
John, were you here yesterday when Greg Coleman talked about the questionnaire that he has prior, the questionnaire that he
No.
talks through?
Yeah, I
I
had to
sent you
jump
an
yesterday.
That's right. I just sent you an email with a link to that document
Okay,
that
perfect.
I think will be really helpful. Greg was really thorough. And then if you want to catch the recording yesterday, we talked through it pretty in depth. That was literally the whole conversation yesterday, how to prepare for
Is
events.
Greg on now? Greg's not on now.
He's not,
Yeah, he's not here today.
but I just sent you that doc.
I just remembered I actually caught one of his punts in one of a game. I wanted to give him ball busting about it. But
How
yeah,
cool is that?
yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Ron.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Anybody else have any other feedback for John? We try to limit the piggybacking because that just ends up taking up time to say the same thing. But if you have anything to add, that would be great. This is a good time to do it. We got a lot of
Well,
experience in the room, so
one thing I would say that has helped me a lot is if that organization has a social media page, which I'd assume they would, following their social media, because they'll be posting updates about the conference, about events happening there, and just general posts that you can get information from and know what they're currently going through.
yep, I think that that's smart too. But yeah, that'll give you the general idea of what their things are. But usually for particular conferences, they have a this is the thing, right? So if someone comes to Speaker Hub, they will see that we're about speakers, but when they look at that conference, it's about product, right? Any other questions? Good. Thanks, Lawrence, for adding that. I think that that's helpful. The more information and data you can capture early, the the better prepared you can be. Any other questions? This is Ask Me Anything Friday. Ask whatever you want. If not, I'm gonna start showing y'all other tips and tricks.
Ron, we have a question in the chat.
All right, go ahead.
Curtis asked if anyone knows an editor. So what advice, since we're talking about products, what advice do you have for finding a good editor for a book?
Right. So a lot of, I would say 80% of book editing can be done by ChatGPT. I'm not a big fan of ChatGPT writing your book, but I think it is a heck of an editor. Right. And you can change the grade level on what level you want the book to be in, saying, hey, I want my writing to be at a 6th grade level. Right. Most books that you read on business and leadership are like 6th grade. Right. If you get up to the more technical words, their brain's gonna freeze while they're reading it, right? But so you can use Chat GPT for that. That's one of the ones, and just go chapter by chapter on the editing. And then I would just I would look on LinkedIn for book editors, but you want to see books that they've edited, right? If they've edited novels, that's not the same as editing a leadership book because you need context and the storytelling is different, all of those different things, because an editor is almost a co-writer with you. Amelia, you want to add? Go ahead.
I'd like to add something. I wrote a book, but I wanted to have it published in Amazon. Therefore, you have to format it for first ebook and then for paperback. And I found a company, Fever.pro, who just did the ebook edition, published it at KDP for ebook. I chose the categories with them, and then they made another edit for the paperback edition. And they are quite good. You may choose among different teams to do it.
Yep.
I did the book with one team and I did the paperback with another team. You choose to ask for author's copy first to see if the editing and the formatting, everything is according to you. Just try it. I'll put it in the chat. It's for me, it's trial and error, but I definitely recommend these guys because I believe they are quite good, especially formatting your book for you. Because
Yeah.
whenever you publish it, you need the formatting properly done.
Yep. Fiverr is one of our go-to places. I'm a big believer in Fiverr. We get a lot of data analysis. What she's referring to is Fiverr Pro, which is different than the basic Fiverr. So they have this pro thing where they vetted the people that are in there. It's not the normal anybody can set up a store thing. It's these are the vetted uh freelancers. You see what I mean? So check out Fiverr Pro. Amazing recommendation, Amelia, on the publishing part of it. And they have editors in there too. But I would say the beginning editing to keep it kind of simple so you save a bunch of money, I would run it through ChatGPT and then get human eyes on it second. Because a lot of the basic editing is typos, wrong tense of word, bad punctuation. ChatGPT can do that cheap. Does that make sense, Carter's? Who asked that? Was it Carter's or someone else?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, yeah. ChatGPT can do that for cheap, and then you get the human eyes on it to go back and fix a lot of it. The other thing ChatGPT is really good at that humans aren't very good at is finding redundancies. We don't realize how much we repeat ourselves in our writing and in our speaking. And ChatGPT, they are good at finding that. They're like, dude, shut up. You done said the same thing 18 times. You know, how do you get this into a better sentence structure? So I would use ChatGPT and then go to something like Fiverr or somewhere to get the formatting and also the humanized editing.
Yeah.
Upwork is good too.
What is it?
Upwork.
Yeah, Upwork is great. The only difference is that Upwork doesn't have that vetted program where Fiverr comes with a guarantee. Upwork is all freelancers. So if they end up doing something bad, it doesn't matter. Upwork is still going to charge you the hours that they spent. Do you see what I mean? So Upwork is an hourly thing where Fiverr is a project based. It's $500. Upwork is $10 an hour until I get it done type of work. So pick your poison. But I've used both of them. I've hired a lot of folks. Anything else, Carter?
So what I'm
It's also
Yeah,
good
so
to use if you have somebody who's an English major or who's also published or written a book who has a command on written English literature. I found it helpful also to send out either a chapter or send out the whole book to people that I know that are loyal to me that will give me feedback, not only for the editing purposes, because ChatGPT may not get all the colloquialisms or
Yep.
understand all of your examples that as humans we do. So if you do that, that's an easy way to get some early reviews and testimonials, but some real true feedback on whether or not where you're going with that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I'm sure people here in this group will love to give you a customer view, not an editor view, but a customer view about, if they understood what you were trying to communicate, right? There was a guy that I knew who, when they did their book, everybody that they sent the previews out to, they gave them feedback. They included them in the appendix, and people were just proud to be in the appendix. Hey, I was a co-editor of this book. But they got good feedback. They got good ratings, reviews, all of those things because it was just the the pre-published copy. So, I mean, you got a lot of options there. So as you get further down the road, how far away do you think you are? 3 months, 6 months?
probably like 3 months.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. And I
and
mean,
the problem is like with Fiverr, they're like, okay, 30,000 words or something like that. So like I'm running into that kind of like limit and like trying to figure out how to best do it.
how many words you got? Good Lord, 30,000 words. That's a dictionary, bro. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just joking with you.
Yeah, the book
But
is only like 100 and almost 100 pages or something like that.
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
trying to
have no
try to make
idea
it
of
a
the scope.
small book. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea of the scope, but um, yeah, man, just keep going. Ask around. You know, that's how you learn. Ange can give you some feedback. She's published, I don't know how many books. Talk to her after this. She'll give you all the That's four for herself, but she's published for other people too. So
And
she can give
she's
you some
helped
feedback on
me.
it, right? Bonnie, what's up?
Hey guys, so I'm about to set up timing and pricing for an online course for 15 department heads of an organization on stress management and energy practices. If anyone's done anything similar, I'm wondering if it would like numbers, like would you set up a 6 session, a 4 session? Would you think about doing that sort of thing once a month, twice a month? Anybody had any success or oops around making those plans for stuff like that? Thanks.
Yeah. So what you're referring to is consultative selling, right? And you don't make the mistake of pitching something that they didn't ask for.
They asked for it.
I know, but in what format over what time period?
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
That,
So
yeah.
they ask for the training, but in what format over what time period? Because the last thing you want to do is to put something together and then you're trying that live edit. Or one little small thing says, oh, no, we can't do that. And you're like, well, why can't you do the 6-week thing? Oh, well, really, we just wanted 4 weeks. And you're like, oh, I could have adjusted that, but now you're live editing because you didn't get all of the context. So if you can
Huh?
get another meeting with the person, and here's my excuse for meetings. Hey, Bonnie, I would send an email. Hey, Bonnie, I put together some pretty strong options for you guys, but I want to make sure I'm on the right track before I finalize everything and present it to you and your team. Do you have 20 minutes you can give me this week to kind of walk through and answer some basic questions just to make sure that I'm on the right path? Nobody says no to that.
Okay. Yeah, I know they'll meet with me again if that. So it's asking
Yeah,
more
but
questions
here's the
about how
thing.
they
You don't
want it
want
to
to have to
look.
get the entire team on, but you want the
No.
decision maker,
Yes. Yes.
right? So
And
if you know who the
I have her
decision
ear.
maker is, get them on the call, not the entire team, because the entire team's going to feel like they got to redeliberate. I thought we already did this. And you're like, no, no, no. I just want to finalize this last part. And they don't realize that you're like fixing the product. They feel that they're just answering some clarifying questions.
Okay. Yeah, I have the ear of the decision maker. And okay, so I ask her more questions about how she wants that to look before I would
Yeah,
say, I can do
exactly.
this, I can do that.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then
All
ask
right,
them
great.
do you know their budget?
Not exactly. The budget
Yeah.
for the speaking event that I'll do, we agreed on 1,000 for that, which was obviously less than I was looking for, but it's okay. And
Yeah. So
and a bunch of books sold, but not, I don't know exactly what the budget is for this part that they're
yeah,
asking me
so
for now.
there's still a lot of research that there's still a lot of selling you have to do, right? So let me talk about that for about 3 minutes. So
Thank you.
what's the difference between selling and pitching? Anybody know? Want to take a stab at it?
Well, pitching is knocking on the door. Sounds like, and selling is getting the details right. Maybe?
Mm, kind of, but we'll keep that. We'll mark those, right? The difference between pitching and selling is this. The person who's doing consultative selling, they're asking so many questions at the beginning so that they can design the exact solution that the person wants. The person that's pitching, they already got the product. They trying to convince you to get it. So when I do my outreach for podcasts or for speaking gigs or whatever, I'm never pitching Ron. I'm asking, are they still looking for speakers? And would they like to get on a call? Because I'm going to learn in that call what type of speaker they're looking for. I'm going to learn in that call what type of speaking gigs as speakers you guys were looking for, right? And once I have all those bullets, I'm going to throw them right back at them, right? But the pitch person says, hey, I talk on this. I talk on that. Would you like this? Oh, no, you don't want that. Let me show you this one. Oh, you don't want that one. Let me bring out this knife. Oh, you don't want that. Let me show you the fork. Oh, and it comes with the spoon. And it's a pitch. It's a pitch into pitch darkness. Where selling is listening, understanding what they want, what their needs are, and then presenting that back to them as one of your capabilities. So if you don't know what their budget is, it's a pitch. Because you have no idea if they can pay for it or whatever. All right. Now, let me give you a great example. What do you think that what do you assume the budget is?
Is that a rhetorical question, or you're asking
No, no,
me?
no. I'm asking for real. Like you about to put some numbers on the paper and present it to him. You about to ask him the paper. So what numbers you gonna put on the paper?
That's a good question. So not only the schedule, but I'm not sure what the numbers to put on, except for I've been guided in the past to look at what is it I want to make from this and
All right.
work backwards.
Yeah. So um uh, I'm gonna give you a little bit of help on this. 1 second, okay?
I love that. Thanks.
Because I think that could be disastrous.
We don't want that.
1 second. 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And actually, you know what? Let's role play this, Bonnie. All right, I want you to be the event planner or whatever, and I'm going to be the salesperson. All right.
Okay.
All right. So this is gonna be us role playing that call from the other day, and then I'm gonna do it without you seeing the screen, and then I'm gonna show you what I did. Does that make sense?
Sort of, but I'll roll with it.
Yeah, just roll with it. I promise you. You all have seen this before, but I'm just gonna do it without showing you the gist of it, and then we'll walk through and dissect it. I think this is a great topic for today because as you get with podcast, you don't have to really sell them. You see what I mean? Because they're not paying you to come on the podcast. So those are easy meetings. When you start meeting with associations and there's a check involved, you got to sell. Right? So, hey Bonnie, as I mentioned in my email, I wanted to hop on a quick call with you to kind of finalize some of the ideas to make sure that I was putting together some programs or some program options for you that made sense. So the goal of this call is just to ask you a few questions, get your feedback, and then at the end, we'll be able to both make a better decision about the direction. Is that fair?
Sounds good.
So you mentioned that you wanted to get some extra things outside of just the speech. Can you give me kind of an idea of what you were trying to accomplish with the extra trainings?
Yes. So in the organization, we have a staff of about 120, and we have 15 folks who are department leads. I would like to have you work with them on anxiety and stress management in the ways of energetic practices that you talked to me about before.
Okay. And is there a defined outcome? Have you all been receiving complaints or people saying, "Oh, I'm kind of stressed out"? Is there a certain outcome that you're looking to achieve?
We haven't really had complaints, but I see that for some of the department leads trying to manage the staff around staying calm and being appropriate with our residents can be pretty stressful right now. And I'd like to help them reduce their stress levels so that when they come into work in the morning, they know how to settle themselves a little bit more before they begin working with the folks.
Okay. And if let's say we're not able to work this out, right? And you're not able to get anyone to come in to help you, what would be the effects of that? That nobody
Oh.
wanted to come in to tackle this problem. How does that affect your organization?
I think that causes a lot of stress for our senior residents because everybody's a little more keyed up now than I would say over the last few years. But and then when families help their elders come into our assisted living facility, if they don't feel the positive, relaxed energy of the staff around handling situations with the residents, they're not going to want to bring people here. I think I'm concerned about that.
No, that makes sense. Did you have a delivery method in mind? Group, individual, virtual, live?
Well, I think virtual in this case would work best, and this group is 15 people.
Okay. All right. And how often did you want them to receive training? Once a month, once a week, once a year?
Yeah, I see this one. Okay, so probably twice a month with a finite number of meetings. We can't afford to, continue to do this on and on, but it maybe twice a month to keep people keep their minds on it and also be able to manage it because we're very busy here.
Okay. And is there a particular budget that you had in mind already allocated for this?
Not exactly. I would have to look into that further.
Okay. And how much time would you think you would need to get that confirmed?
Oh, a day or two?
Okay. All right. So let's stop there. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, thanks. Get it.
do you notice what did I talk? Did I talk about the product at all?
Mm-mm.
No. We went through the freaking surveys. All I did was just take y'all through the
Yeah.
surveys we've been practicing for the last 3 months.
Yes, and I've been using them and that didn't connection. Hello.
All right. This is what it looks like. These are the different sections in the surveys. We break it down into 12 to 15 questions, but it's this: explore the circumstances. Tell me what you're looking to do. Very broad, right? Identify the opportunities. Boom. Well, what happens if we don't even fix this? If nobody comes in to fix it? Well, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Cool.
Yeah.
People will complain about a lot of stuff that they're not willing to pay for. So I had to ask, how do you want this delivered? If she can't imagine how it will be delivered, it ain't a real need.
Got it.
Let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. People complain about things all the time. But the things, if I asked someone in here, are you looking to buy a new car? And they were like, yeah, I guarantee you they know if they want a 2-door, a 4-door, a convertible, a foreign car, an American car, a SUV, a tractor trailer. We know they know what type of car they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of, well, hey, just tell me which one I should get. No, get up out of here. You may be able to influence me on the brand, but you're not gonna, someone with a family of 5, unless they already have that family car taken care of, you're not selling them a Corvette.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you have to
Yeah.
confirm, the way that you confirm the existence of a need is to listen to what the work that they've already done. The person who's ready to buy has already set the foundation for buying.
Mm-hmm.
How many of y'all on here, let me give you an example, were already pitching before you found SpeakerHub Pro in one form or another?
Yep.
All of you. The foundation was already set. I ain't have to sell you on starting to pitch. The people that I got to sell the hardest are the ones who've never pitched before. The people that are looking for a better way to pitch, they've already set the foundation in place. We already Googling. We already got, yeah, you got the same spreadsheet I got. Mine only got 300 people on it. You got 48,000. Can I get yours? Right? They've already set that foundation. So those are what we call buying signals. So those are trial closes at the top of the screen. Those questions around, do you have a budget? How would you like it delivered? Even though it's giving me data on how to put it together, I'm getting that information so I know how to design it. And then she said something that most people may not have heard. She says, well, we don't have a budget to keep this going on and on and on. We don't have a budget to do this forever. Cool. Now you just gave me the right to ask you about money. So what is the budget that you set up? So, because how could you say, and this is, I know we're role playing, but how could you say we don't have the budget for it if you haven't set a budget? Right? So once I get all of these things, then I walk them back down the steps. Right? So I repeat to them the need that they said that they had. I tell them about the effects of it and how it's going to destroy the organization and the customers will feel it's going to be this way. I tell them the format in which we can provide it, because that's where I identify the opportunity, right? And then I ask them to buy it. Does this make sense? But if you're not doing these in your meetings, you don't have a sale. You're pitching, because you're pitching in the darkness. You don't know what the budget is. You're going to show them something for $8,000 and they're like, dude, we gave you $1,000. Which makes you think we got 8? We fought with you to get you down to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
We may be able to do 8,000 over the year, and you do it virtually, which is 2 times a month. We give you $400 per deal. Are you willing to hop on for $400 an hour twice a month to do this? If that's a good
Mhm.
deal, do it. I do those all the time. I got a training that I do with the Ohio SBC, the Small Business SBA in Ohio. It's an hour training on. It's the same training. I do it 2 times a month. It's an hour webinar. Cool. Let me just go and talk about this. I got this thing. I can do this with my eyes closed. Right? So different contracts, but it's $500 an hour. That's why I do it. Some people may say, well, man, I wouldn't do that for $500 an hour. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. This one speech pays for my kid's school.
That's right. You do you.
Right?
Right.
But what we want to do is not pitch in the dark. Is
Yeah.
this helpful, guys? Does this make
It's
sense?
really helpful. Really
Did you
helpful.
see? I don't need to know your product to sell it. I don't know nothing
No.
about what she even offering. I'm selling what they buying.
That is a good thing
buying
to
for
remember.
whatever budget they got, that's what I'm selling.
Selling what they're buying. Mhm. Thanks for going through that with me, Ron. That was very helpful. I appreciate it.
Yep. So I can't distribute this, but I can't stop you from taking a screenshot because this is copyrighted material. So if you
Mhm.
just happen to click the screenshot thing, hey, that's your computer. All I'm doing is present. This belongs to Achieve Global and Hyman Miller and their professional selling skills stuff.
Well, I
I don't
accidentally
own
got it.
this. Huh?
Yeah. So I said, yep, I accidentally clicked that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm just saying I don't own this. All right. Just, you know,
Huh?
so there's a lot of great training, and we'll get into more of this a bit down the road. But a lot of this is cheating, like learning to ask these questions. Any questions about my questions and about probing? Is this the first time you all have seen this? I know a lot of you all have seen me teach this about 4 or 5 times. Is this helpful? Is this the format that you're using? If you're not, practice it. That's why the surveys are built in this format. That's why I didn't want you emailing the surveys. You needed to practice talking this way. Go ahead, Valencia.
So I actually have a proposal to submit tomorrow morning. This is it's a proposal for services, almost kind of like what Bonnie just did. Except I'm going to be doing some services like in the tourism industry. So these questions are really good. Like I needed them last week, but yeah, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if you have any words of wisdom for me on the proposal, but it's almost like I've got to take
Again,
them down the
you're
stairs.
selling what they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what they're willing to pay for and how they're willing to deliver it and how much they're willing to pay, you're pitching. I just wanted to make the broad difference between pitching and selling.
Right. Now, I don't
Right?
know what their budget is. I don't know that. So I guess you could say I will be pitching.
Yeah, it's
And
pitching.
that's uncomfortable for me.
Here's the other side. I'll show you pitching, and you all see pitching every day. Whenever there's someone new on the call, I pitch SpeakerHub to them. I don't sit on here and ask them how many gigs they want, any of that, right? I can see it because we have our score app to have those answers, right? But that's me pitching SpeakerHub. You notice I don't get none of their background, what their budget is, how much they want to do, if they even care about getting on podcasts, have they been on podcasts? Nope, I'm going to pitch the flywheel. Right? Now, why do I pitch that? Because it's free. They can sign up for free. So I ain't got nothing to gain or to lose we already got the information. That's how they got here. Right? But if it was $4 grand, $5 grand, $6 grand on the line, you've heard me say, hey, Ange, give them my calendar. If I think I got somebody that's ready to buy, then I get to the sale. But the pitch is just to open their eyes. If you got a meeting, pitching is over. Pitching is before the meeting. I got to pitch the idea to get them curious for the first date. Does that make sense? So the flywheel gets them curious, and then they say, yeah, let me meet with you to talk more about this. Because I'll just kill it after that. I'll get here and I'll get to a certain point, say, hey, what do you think? Oh, well, what's the price? Hey, set up a meeting. Boom. Now we're going to sell. All y'all been through that. Everybody on here that has bought from me has been through that process. It's not by mistake. I say the same thing every time. You see, pitching isn't bad, but pitching after you have a meeting is terrible. Got it? Any other questions?
We have a few
Anything in the
questions.
chat, Edge?
Yes, we have some things happening in this chat. People said it's very helpful, but people are asking, can you share those questions? And I think you
Again,
do it.
I can't publicly share the questions. I can show them on the screen, right? So y'all can see it. But can I send you this? I don't own the rights to this, so I can't send it to you. I can't.
Ron, after hearing you do this so many times, I think what you do well is come up with different questions every time. So even where it says explore the customer circumstances, you aren't asking the same exact question every time. You're asking like general questions. So can you go through that, like high level, the types of questions you ask at each level?
Yep. So let me show you something. I'm going to show you something that I think y'all might get some value out of. 1 second. Let me go back. So that was one version of that table. But there's another version that is a bit more high tech. And I'll show it to you. Again, don't be taking screenshots. Okay. Let me see if I can find the one that, there's one that I have that has the, 1 second. DM training. Let me see if I got it. DM training. All right. So I'm going to show you how this one. All right. Let's see. Let me make sure it's the right thing. All right. So look at this one. This one's weird. You know, this one's a bit weird. And it may be a bit blurry. So then I'm glad it's blurry so y'all can't be copying it. You know, so this is all blurry and stuff with my sample questions written next to it. You know, it's kind of blurred out. So I try to put the things on there so y'all don't be stealing my stuff. But I'm going to show it to you. But don't be stealing my stuff, right? So those are some example probes and how that works. Does that make sense? But if you think about the surveys, it's the same thing. How do you explore a customer circumstance? Let's flip this around. Bonnie, let's go. Where you go? Don't be running. Where Bonnie at? Bonnie left?
I ain't running anywhere. I'm right here.
All right, cool. Now you're going to sell to me. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, Ron.
There it is. Did y'all hear the anxiety? Come on, Bonnie, relax.
Yeah,
You can
it's
do this.
okay.
I
I'll
got
be
you.
all right.
All right,
I know.
got you.
I love that. I love that. You always got us. I love that. Okay. So, okay. So I got your email, Ron, and I'm glad that you want to move forward with helping your department leads. So what exactly would you say are the biggest issues that you're having right now that you'd like to address?
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to give Bonnie some railroads to kind of run on here because I think this will be helpful for everyone. Now, again, don't be screenshotting this stuff. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Don't. All right. So this is the opening of the conversation. So if you remember, I said, hey, Bonnie, glad you got my email. I proposed the agenda. I said what we were going to cover on this call. And then I stated the value to Bonnie. The reason why I need to do this is to make sure I'm putting together something that works. Does that make sense? And then I have to ask for acceptance to move forward. I didn't just ramble off a bunch of crap. I follow these 4 things in every conversation I have. Hey, Valencia, the reason I wanted to hop on this call today is the email that I sent you, right? What I basically want to do is to ask you some questions, get some feedback so that I can make a better decision on how we should put the proposal together. That way, when we finally put the proposal together, it's something that's a win-win for both sides. Does that make sense? You just riff at it, but you got to cover those 4 points. I don't believe in scripting. I believe in principles. So, Bonnie, let's go forward with the position you're opening. Bring them into the context that you sent her that email, and then tell me what we're going to do, and then tell me why that's important, and then ask if I have permission to go forward.
So I got your email. I'm
No, you
glad
sent the email, remember?
Well,
You
yeah,
sent
but
the
she
email
answered
asking
me.
for the meeting.
Okay, so we're at that point already. Okay. Thanks for responding to my email, and I would love for us to dig a little bit deeper into what it is you're looking for. And I want to make sure that I'm hearing the needs that you have, and I'm asking your permission to have this conversation to find out exactly what the needs are for you and your people, and what it is you'd like me to fulfill, the outcomes you would seek. Yeah. I hate practice. Okay, so I'm asking your permission of us to have this conversation so I can find out exactly what the needs are that you have. Can we go forward with that?
Okay, cool. That's great. Let me give you a little coaching.
Please.
Simplify it. Hey, I just wanted to follow up on the email I mentioned and just state what you said in the email.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? Because you're trying to think of what to say and just tell the truth. I sent you an email asking for this meeting because I needed some clarifying questions. What I want to do on this call is to ask you those clarifying questions so that I can better help you and make sure I'm putting together something that's valuable. I did 2 and 3 together there.
Yep. So may I ask you the clarifying questions that I have to create
the check
value?
for acceptance, is that okay? Keep it simple.
Is that okay? Yep.
Like, don't add all this stuff. Keep it simple. That way you're not nervous. You going in that joint, you rocking and rolling.
Got
Right?
you.
Look, I go back to dating. Hey, I thought you looked nice. I decided to come over. Would love to take you out to coffee sometime because I think there may be something between the two of us. Are you open to that? It's the same thing that guys have been doing since Adam and Eve. The only dude that didn't have to shoot his shot was Adam. God gave him a woman. Everybody else, we had to shoot our shot. Just saying. Same principles. That's how you got married. That dude on that photo, he followed these 4 principles.
He did.
She said he did.
He did.
All right, so let's go through it. All right, let's go.
Okay, so your answer was yes, that it's okay. All right. So what is the outcome you would like to receive for working with the department leads? How often would you imagine us meeting with them?
Okay, so let me coach you through it. Pick one of these questions at the bottom. You got to explore the opportunities. You're way up at the top. Got to come down.
Crikey.
One of these 5 questions down
currently. Here. Okay. So what are you currently doing about what you see as the stress level that your department leads are dealing with right now?
I mean, right now we're just listening to people. We're not psychiatrists, psychologists, stress management professionals. We just kind of take the feedback on what they suggest sometimes about how we can decrease their workload or give them have more meetings so that they're better prepared, things of that sort. But we don't have any repeatable systems in place.
Okay, so if I were to ask you what you do have in place for now, is there anything, I hear you don't have a repeatable system. Is there anything other than having conversation with your leads that you have in place now?
No.
Okay.
No, let me tell you why that's a bad question. That's a closed question. Go up to the next level in the step.
Okay, I was at the bottom of, so, all right.
Yes, you already asked that one. If you feel like that, those are just examples. You don't ask all 5.
No. Okay. And I understand that
if you felt like that first thing was, I explained it to you, go to the next level and pick one of those.
Okay. So how well would you say that having conversations occasionally with your leads is working to help them manage their stress level? at this
Oh,
time?
it's terrible. That's why I called you. Like, we need some help in that area. It is the worst. But again, we're not the professionals, so we need to bring somebody in. And when I talked with you, I knew, I thought that you may be able to help us with that.
Okay, so I can hear the difficulties that you're having. Can you tell me how that's impacted the business of the senior living facility?
Well, I mean, as you know, it's people work in this environment. You're dealing with people's loved ones, and nobody loves their loved ones more than their loved ones. So they call all the time. Did my daddy get his pizza? He said he liked pizza. Y'all put spaghetti on his thing. He don't like his food to touch. And they just argue with you about all of this stuff. And it's hard to manage sometimes because you can't tell them to shut up, even though sometimes we want to. But so that little bit of anxiety or having to call and tell someone that their loved one passed away or that they're ill, it's just, if we don't get this fixed, I don't see us being able to reach the standard of quality that we want.
I hear you. Okay. So would you like to have a way to uh, systematically um, assist your department leads to bring that energy down when the types of scenarios you just brought forth bring the stress level up for both residents and for staff? Would
Exactly.
you like?
That's why
Okay.
we need you.
Okay. All right. Oh, that feels really good. Thanks. I appreciate that. And I didn't
You see how
screenshot it.
easy that is? Now
Yeah.
I don't have to pitch anymore. Now I just ask, what does that look like? Oh, I
Yeah.
think we should meet with you once a month or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's 15 of us. Now I get it. But if I don't get up the steps, I ain't got nothing to sell.
Got it.
So now once I'm up there, now I just ask, well, what does it look like to you? How do you see this working?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, well, I can meet with y'all every day. They're like, we ain't meeting every day. So don't even put your stuff on there. Ask them what they want.
How do you want it delivered? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
what did you have in mind? So did you have
Clear
any
budget.
idea? Because everybody has ideas. And
Right.
ideas, nobody's ever been pooped on for having an idea. We get into trouble when somebody presents something to us and it's not really what we were thinking. So it's like, well, what did you have in mind? Well, I mean, I was thinking about doing this, but I don't even know if that's right. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. I really hear that. Not layering on top what you imagine they might be thinking.
Yeah.
Because if they're coming into the stage of asking for this, they already have a picture, whether that's what it's going to end up being or not. They already have a picture in their mind. So you want to go in there and then come out. I hear it. Yeah,
I'm
it's very
selling
clear.
them what they buying.
Telling what they buying.
Got it?
Got
Has this
it.
been helpful, guys? We're 2 minutes into overtime. These are the more higher level conversations that we'll be having inside of the new SpeakerHub community. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of help that we're going to be providing to you guys at levels that is just not available. I've done this enough. I used to manage 300 people with farmers insurance. So I'm not just doing one-to-one. I know how to systemize things that I have to teach to a lot of folks. So if you look at those questions, they apply to everybody. I don't care if you're selling garbage can collection or you selling dental implant replacements. Selling is selling. The principles are the same, right? I know we think our business is special, but they ain't. They all business is business, you know. So any other questions or comments in today's meeting about this?
Thank you very much, Ron. It's great.
Oh yeah. And Bonnie, I want to make sure those on YouTube, we're never trying to put someone else out there to embarrass them. We're here to help, right? Our job is to give you the bumpers on the bowling alley. I don't want that ball going in the gutter, right? So we're going to give you the railroad tracks to make sure that you can stay on track and you can get the skills. Now, the surveys help with this because those survey questions are they're built off of this, right? Yeah, the bumpers in the bowling alley, exactly. That's the Midwest thing. I don't even know if they do bowling on the West Coast. Columbia got the most outrageous bowling alleys I've ever been to in my life. I mean, these are like nightclubs that just happen to have bowling lanes in the middle of them. Like multi-level, like 3 levels. You're like, why are people up there? You know, like
That
it's
sounds
bananas.
cool.
No, it's
Sounds
crazy. But any other questions about this? Any other questions about anything else? I got another 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know what's in the chat, but I'll let you all.
It's just basically high fives in the chat, people being excited about what you're saying, and the information today was helpful. Many people said thank you. So no more questions there though. No more
So
questions
I
in the
want to,
chat.
cool. I want to end on this because I think people, pitching is difficult. And I'm not talking about the sending the email. I'm talking about trying to sell something to somebody in the dark. That's hard. Selling is easy because you're just a buyer's assistant. If you look at yourself as, hey, I'm this person's personal assistant and I need to help them to buy a camera, I got to ask them all these questions before I get the best buy, right? And I end up buying the wrong camera. But if I learn to ask all the right questions ahead of time, I can just help them to buy it. It just happens to be that they're buying it from me, right? So we want to be this buyer's assistant more than being a pitch artist. You pitch to get the meeting, but after that, you gotta get into the ability to become a trusted authority. And I want to share this really quickly as we leave off, because I think that that's the difference in the great salespeople that are able to grow their business really well and those that struggle, is that person is just helping people to buy. Right. And you can't run from it. You can't say, well, I'm going to get someone else to do it. Okay, go ahead. Never seen that work before. The best salesperson in your company has to be the CEO. And if anybody tells you anything differently, they're an idiot. Give them my phone number and I'll tell them they're an idiot too. But the best salesperson has to be the CEO of the company. And the reason for that is because if everything goes wrong, you got to be able to step up to sell. The second reason for that is your salespeople will only respect the person or the people that are in the trenches with them. If you're in the military and you tell your person to drop and give me 50, but you with the pot belly can't do 50 push-ups, ain't no respect for you. You done lost your team because they like, dude, you sending us into a fight you wouldn't go into, right? So you got to lead from the front. Does that make sense? So your best salesperson will be 80% of the level that you're at. Let me say that again. Your best salesperson will be at 80% of the level that you're at. Why? Because the people that are better salespeople than you won't work for you. They won't. It just doesn't happen. So here's another thing. Again, don't screenshot this, right? I'm just telling you, don't take this copyrighted material. But this is the difference between selling, the best salespeople and the worst. Everybody, y'all got the Amway friend or the MLM friend that's trying to get you to do something. They just a professional visitor. They ain't never really closing. They just kind of lingering. I stopped by just to see how y'all was doing. And that's the guy at the club. Hey, how y'all doing? I ain't really want nothing. He's just lingering. He's a weirdo. Right? You don't want to be that professional visitor dude. The other thing is the price seller. Well, we're 50% cheaper. I see you got that. I could have got that for you for less. It's the worst. Then there's the content seller. It slices, it dices, but they never ask you to buy. They just keep giving you more and more and more and more and more and more and more information about the product. That is pitching. Got it? But then on the other side, there's the need satisfaction person. So what are you looking for? What color? What size? They ain't really getting in depth. They just asking questions to get details to know what to show you. Does that make sense? So they're asking how much RAM you want in your computer? How many gigabytes of storage? Do you want the iPhone 16, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max? They just asking questions. They don't have no point in the questions. Right? That's the early version of consultative selling. When you become the resourceful expert is where you're asking questions that's making them think beyond your product. Does that make sense? So now they think, man, you understand this. What CRM should I have? So y'all say, well, Ron, you understand the speaking business. Man, you know that well. You ask all these others, Joe, what should I say in this meeting? What should I do about this? I'm thinking about buying a car. What car do you think? You're like, dude, I don't even sell cars. But you did use that car in that example, and you seem like you knew all the. That's a resourceful expert, where you're starting to get questions about stuff that you really don't even provide. The loyal champion. This is the person they call him first. Yo, hey, Cardis, I know you do the leadership thing, man. I want to get your feedback on this because I'm about to go do this thing. They calling you before anybody else. Now, I'm gonna reverse this around. All of y'all know somebody that fit these things. You got somebody you call, whether it's a family member, a friend, a frat brother, a sorority sister, a cousin, an uncle, somebody you bought something from in the past, you calling them first. That's a loyal champion. Then you got these trusted advisors. That's like the pinnacle. That's less than 10% of salespeople are there. That's what people call you, asking you for advice about stuff you don't even do. Somebody called me asking for tax advice. I'm like, I ain't no freaking accountant. Man, but you got a business and everything else, man, that you've told me is lined up. So I figured, can you at least recommend somebody to me? Sure. But I don't think that they can help you, right? But that's when you're the trust. Man, your kids seem so well behaved. What are you doing, to make sure your kid don't get Fs? Got a belt. Like, it's really simple, right? I'm not sure that that's what you want to hear, but you see how you move up that and you get better with time. Was that helpful, guys? Any other questions before we call it quits for the weekend? It's Friday, and yeah, it's almost Saturday for Leroy. Any other questions? Anything else? All right. If not, I'm gonna let it go. Good to see you again, Willie. Trinessa, it's always good to see you.
You too. Thank you. It's Trinisa.
Trinisa, sorry about that. Maria, Heidi, good to see you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Bonnie, Leroy, Michelle, say Ron, I got your message. Say Ron, I'll get you what you need. Yeah, we'll hop up off here. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Right now.